to the show. Wow, WildChild Records. What a day today. Again, this technology, it's great sometimes, and other times it can drive you crazy. So on the show today, we have the other co-owner now, Rise Up TV. Mark, thanks for being on the show today.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jane. Thanks for all that you do.
Yeah, it was great having Jimmy on. He's quite he has the look, and so he told me like his business is the tour bus business, right? Like, so he's been doing this for a long time. He said he's met a lot of people. So tell us about Jimmy.
I met Jimmy about must be 6 years ago, and I met him as an artist. He came to me at bigrecords.world, and he wanted to, I guess, further his career at that point. And we worked together almost a year, and then we began to find we had some similar visions for where how we saw the industry and where we wanted to go. And Jimmy, I found Jimmy to be a fascinating guy because he's understated, believe it or not, because you can see him. He's kind of like, flamboyant and this kind of thing, right? But he's understated. He doesn't name drop. He doesn't this and that. So that's my job. I can tell you, he got his start in the 90s driving for Share, the tour bus. And then it just went from there. And I can honestly say, he knows almost everybody in the industry. The biggest names you can imagine. He's driven for them and had them over to his house for dinner and these kinds of things. And he's an absolute wizard on tour buses. We own a tour bus with Rise Up TV, and he has, everyone in the bus business from Live Nation on down. They know who Jimmy is, and they, he just got off the Rick Springfield tour and became really great friends with Rick, and before that it was Boz Scaggs. Just one after the other.
Wow, big names.
There's tons of stories, and I have to say, he's one of the most giving people I've ever met. He's understated, and I will tell you a story a quick story. So Snoop Dogg came to Vancouver about a few months ago with Warren G and whatnot. Now Jimmy was driving for Warren G, and Jimmy got us all onto the floor, 14th row, with my family and I. And just at the last minute, boom, he walked in, got it for us. And this is the kind of thing that he does for people. He gives out far more than he gets. And I find him to be a giving person, and he can take apart a bus, put it back together on the side of the road.
Wow.
Wow.
That's talent.
Yeah, it's just an amazing guy, knows everybody. So that's Jimmy. A few years ago, I let him know about the vision for Rise Up, and we have not looked back ever since. We formed the company together, the corporation, and we're taking it as far as it can go, wherever it leads, whether it's Netflix, Crave, Hulu, all of these, everywhere, MTV, that's where it's going. We've got 11 episodes in the can, and 4 of them are finished editing. When we get up to about 8, we're going to take it around to all the networks and go from there.
Well, I was talking to Jimmy, and I said, it'd be great if you guys could send us a couple of clips or whatever, so we could showcase it in our edited version of the show. We would love to edit in and just say, hey, here's a little bit of the tours. Now, did all the artists, did they stay on the bus?
Yeah, they did. We actually, on this last tour, we did Nashville through to Charlotte, Carolina. We did 5 shows in about 5 or 6 nights, and then a rehearsal and this and that. Everybody stays on the bus. We actually had a second bus alongside too, which broke down before the last date. And so all the stories, you don't have to script anything on a live tour. I mean, you and I talk like on this, and the technical stuff that goes on, just even creating a show like what we're on right now. And on the road, it's you don't have to script anything because at one point, the second bus, the air conditioner on the top of the bus clipped a live wire on the top, and then the police showed up, and everything is like Bruce Coughlin, one of our artists, is on the roof with a broom trying to lift the cable over the air conditioner.
That's life, right? That's real life.
Oh, people say, I want to go on the road. Are you sure?
And how many, so again, tell our viewers again, how many musicians were part of the tour?
So we have we call them the characters during the week. So we go away for a week on the bus, and bus stop showers, and or truck stop showers, I should say. And we do the shows, and then we have local artists that come out in support of that. And we have 5 or 6 on the bus, depending, if there's a band, it's more people.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, with our videographers and road managers, all that, we have about 13 people on this bus, and then we usually have another vehicle that pulls another 5 or 6 people. So there's about 20. We're getting ready to go. We're starting international now. We're doing Europe. We're doing Asia. Cambodia, New Guinea are coming up. And if you picture sort of an Anthony Bourdain style show, but music, traveling, meeting the people, eating the food, all of that kind of thing. So that's
wonderful. Wow. So can you tell us, so how long was this tour now for? Tell our viewers how many days it was.
It was 6 days, and then there was a rehearsal day in Nashville where the band, everyone meets each other on the first day. We rehearsed 8 hours, they rehearsed, and then you go out on the road, and the show gets better as you go. Naturally, that's the way it is. So it's about the people, the relationships that are formed, and the trouble that happens as you go. And there's always drama, like I say, but we don't whoop it up or anything. You don't need to. It's about relationships, music, and travel. Some of the places we visited. So on the 11th of November, we were in Charlotte, and there was a ceremony for veterans, and we went to that, and took film of everything that was happening, and there was a real emphasis on the veterans because of that time. We also went and did a pop-up concert in Chattanooga for the veterans, and so, we try to bring back. Rise Up is about rising up out of your circumstances, whatever that is, on the road and that. So, and we're thankful to our sponsors, Godin Guitars, and there's multiple radio sponsors we have, and we're looking for more sponsors. There's always, we've got the Cambodian government on now, and the New Guinea government, and this is how we plan to do traveling around the world.
So you mentioned that you have like an international tour. On the show today, we have, before I mentioned that, we have on the co-owner from Rise Up TV, we have Mark Rosner. Mark's been a great guy. He supports emerging artists, mainstream artists, celebrity artists. Get in touch with Mark. If people want to find out, not that we're ending the interview, but if people want to find out how they can participate or be the next band on the tour bus, where could they go? How could they get in touch with you?
Well, there's 2 entities that we have that both support each other. One is bigrecords.world, and within bigrecords.world is our label. It's a non-exclusive label, and we have all of the support that an artist is needing, whether it's publicity, radio, television, and film. Our television and film team is absolutely amazing. Mark Berry and Dennis Sinnott are huge people in the industry that help with all of that. And that aids in the Rise Up side, because the Rise Up TV side is television. That's where it's going. I believe that the public are to get them more interested in the actual artists. You need to sort of create that television aspect where they're learning who the artist is as a person. And so the 2 of them operate sort of together, but they're very different. So bigrecords.world and then Rise Up TV. And like I say, we use the team is the same in some cases for both, but it's needed. You need a lot of people to help artists with all the different things that they need.
Now, you mentioned a very prominent name in the industry by the name of, what did you mention? Mark Berry?
Mark Berry, AMG.
Mark,
out of Toronto. He's right in Toronto with you.
And how, because we work closely with Mark through another entity. So was Mark part of this tour at all, or not really? Like, was he attached, or?
Yeah, so Mark is involved. I've known Mark over 10 years, and we are just today announcing our publishing company together. We're merging publishing company, M&M Music Publishing, which is going to be taking the artist music out to television film all over the world. That's a merging of our two licensing entities. And as it relates to, that's in bigrecords.world, we're partnering. In Rise Up TV, Mark is actively responsible for bringing our distribution of Rise Up TV together. We're missing about 4 episodes to be done, and then we have a deal in place that Mark is going to be involved in distribution around the world. So we will be seen in Korea and just everywhere, right? And that's where Mark's involved.
Well, since Mark's a Toronto boy, or he's located in Toronto, when are you coming to Toronto? When are you coming this way of the country, Mark?
Well, you put me on the spot there. We are gaining a lot more. Like my vision was always worldwide. So as more local entities become involved, like the Disability Channel is amazing, and we're looking forward to sort of combining something and figuring out how we can get Rise Up TV bus up to the Ontario area, and maybe even into Quebec a little bit, because we got a lot of Montreal connections and stuff. But we really want to get in there. We've just got to figure out the the sponsors and how that's going to work financially, and then and again, that's the content creator, the distribution. We're at a level where the after a lot of work and finding the right people, where the episodes are really getting quite good, like well done. And I think our entity, once we start to hit the networks, I think it'll make a lot of financial sense, because people will start to know the characters. That's the second part that has to happen here.
That's great, Mark. I really love the vision, and you have all of them. You have television, you have, of course, music, which is #1 around the world. Just great. And you're helping, like you're supporting emerging and new artists. I have to really commend you on that. If people want to find out more information, Mark, like where could they go? Could you give out the website? And before you let us go, what's next on your plate now? Like immediately, what do you have other than taking a break?
Sure. Yeah, boy, that's for sure. You nailed it. So Mark at bigrecords.world is my email. And if somebody's interested in Rise Up TV in any way, artists or sponsors or agents, partners of any kind, if you sort of share the vision, that is Mark at bigrecords.world. As for what is next, the team we've assembled I'm very proud of the team. I couldn't have done this by myself for sure. You know that when you're running something, you have to delegate and you have to have good people. So the licensing publishing company has been something I've been working on for quite some time. And another name we have involved in that is Dennis Sinnott, Sinnott. He signed Queen and Elton John back in the day. He was high up in publishing with EMI, and him and Mark Berry are licensing people. And we've got a nice deal there. So we're going to be focusing on the publishing company. And then also 2024 promises to be an amazing year when Rise Up gets released to the networks. And of course, we have tours and other things happening, radio partners, all of that. That's where we're headed in. We're always wanting to grow. I wake up every day and I say, okay, I got to push this further. And so every angle we can get to is where we're going to go.
Well, that's great, Mark. I really appreciate being on the show today. Just so you know, this was live on Facebook, so there is people commenting. So we'll pass along any names or numbers if people want to get in touch with you. And again, we really appreciate you coming on the show. Congratulations on your tour, and let us know for your next big event, as we will be there to promote you for sure. Well,
Jay, you are a light in the world for the things that you're doing, and I so appreciate you. And I know there's a lot of good things you're bringing to the world, and you're a how shall I say, a truth seeker. We'll leave it there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to wrap up. Stay tuned. I'm going to come back with a few Disability Channel Wild Child updates, and you're watching WildChild Records. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.